Ghana, located in West Africa on the Greenwich Meridian, is fast becoming the investment destination of choice in the region. If you are looking beyond the horizon to locate your business, then Ghana offers you a conducive business environment to produce at minimum cost for export. Since 1996, Ghana's Free Zones Board, under our Free Zones program, has been the channel through which the country's export development strategy is driven, attracting investments into the country from around the world. Due to its strategic location, Ghana has excellent sea and air connections to the rest of the world, especially Europe, USA, and Africa. Today, the vision and mission of the Ghana Free Zones Board is to provide a conducive environment for investors, to sharpen our focus on the needs of the investor, and to satisfy those needs with greater speed and effectiveness.
Ghana Free Zones Board was set up in 1995 by Act 504 of Parliament, and it was basically an act that was designed to promote export-oriented development for Ghana.
Ghana came relatively late to the free zone concept, but now it's one of many countries, probably more than 100 countries, that have various kinds of free zones. Some are called export processing zones, some are called special economic zones. We happen to call ourselves the free zones in Ghana. But essentially, most of such zones are intended to provide special inducements and special incentives, especially for export-oriented companies to establish themselves and to either export all or a majority of their output.
And we've gotten to a point where we are now able to identify what are comparative advantages in terms of Ghana's location, the favorability of Ghana as a preferred destination, and the investor preferences in terms of establishing free zone entities in the sub-region.
And we are seeking to establish a one-stop shop admin center which will reduce red tape and bureaucracy to allow for an improved business environment and ease of doing business in Ghana.
We want people to think of coming to Ghana first when they are coming to West Africa, as opposed to thinking of going anywhere else. And because of that, we know that we have to make certain investments as a government. We need to review not only the Free Zones Act and the Ghana Investment Promotion Center Act, which is ongoing at the moment. We need to review other legislation to make it faster and easier to do business in Ghana.
What one would notice most in a visit to the zone is the relative clean environment, physical environment that welcomes you to the facility, and also the orderliness in which companies are set up. It's certainly a much more organized enclave than the industrial area in Ring Road and such places which are almost mingled with the city. I would say that's the first impression one gets when one gets to the free zone.
So Nestlé is the world's biggest and leading food and beverages company. It's a Swiss company. We're present in around 200 countries. We have around 500 factories, and we have more than 340,000 employees around the world. For a while already now, Ghana has been a very stable country, politically and economically, especially I think it's one of the best working democracies in Africa for sure. And when you look at regulations and laws, they're very clear, and there is very, very little interference of the executive in the judiciary. So that makes it a very good business-friendly environment. And that's why we're here. We're quite happy to be in the free zone. We've been in the free zone since 2006, and we intend to stay here for the time being. The benefits are there. Obviously, the first ones are that you don't pay duties for the import of raw materials, and obviously you can manufacture at a lower cost. We have the ability to import finished products, consolidate them here in Accra, and when it comes to small quantities for the 22 countries, we can consolidate everything here and then redeploy accordingly into different countries. One of the benefits is also that we are able to get certain things cheaper, as we're not paying VAT and other things, so we can get cheaper cars, for example, for our staff. And also for our staff, we can get more people from outside of Ghana. As we are regional head office, we don't have to go for quotas of work permits as we might have to do if we would be a normal company in Ghana. I think if you look around here and you look around this office, you can see so many buildings rising from the ground, and you can see that Accra and Ghana in a certain way is booming. And so have our investments also grown over the years in this region. So across the region we spend several $100 million obviously in our factories. We have in Ghana a factory in Tema, where we also have invested big amounts of money over the years.
As Cargill, we process good quality Ghanaian cocoa beans into good quality cocoa powder for consumption around the world. When this plant was built in 2008, it was the newest of its kind. So the technology that we brought here in 2008, our employees have learned with that technology and basically are on the cups in terms of all pressing or cocoa production technology. The Free Zone and the government have really helped us in our journey over the last 5 years. The Free Zone and the government have played a critical role in making sure that these infrastructures have been put in place to ensure that a business of our size, a business that competes globally, a business that supplies food quality around the world can still continue to compete globally. Our relationship with the Free Zone Board has been ongoing for the last 8 years. We put the plant here 5 years ago, so the relationship has strengthened over that period. The Free Zone Board has been helpful in case of challenges with water, in terms of our storm drain. They are responsive to our challenges in regards to immigration issues, very responsive in making sure that these things are taken care of in a timely fashion. As a company of our size, in bringing expatriates through, in training people, in turning people through the system, it's critical that we have a Free Zone Board that is responsive to our needs and can ensure that we are 100% operational. In terms of security issues in the enclave, they have also handled that issue, and that is all very good as an investor to make sure that our assets are protected for the long term.
To talk about Plot, we are a cocoa processing company. We have a 32,000 ton per annum capacity, and we process natural and alkalized cocoa liquor, natural cocoa butter, natural and alkalized cocoa cake, and cocoa powder. And all these products I've mentioned are derived from Ghana's cocoa beans. Here at Plot, we are committed to quality, and we pride ourselves on having worked hard to attain and maintain a very high level, in fact, internationally recognized standards in quality certification. We enjoy excellent relations with Free Zones here. Some of the benefits we derive from being associated with Free Zones is that we have total exemption from payment of direct and indirect duties and levies on all imports for production and exports from Free Zones. We are also exempted from payment of corporate tax on profits on all exports made during the first 10 years of our operation. And again, we have the ability to operate foreign currency accounts with banks in Ghana.
Ghana is one of the most attractive places to invest. And always I like to place it for ease of understanding into the hard assets of the country and the soft assets of our country. The hard assets, of course, are the physical, natural resources. Ghana, with all due respect, is one of the most blessed countries on God's own earth. Whether it is agricultural potential, the 60% or more of our land, which is arable compared to other countries that are Sahelian or that have all kinds of challenges that cannot even grow much for themselves. Whether it is the 1,000 kilometer front line of a man-made lake, which is one of the largest lakes in the world, Lake Volta, from which we can do a lot of irrigation and fish farming and tourism. Whether it is the 300 kilometers of seafront, which allows us to have a 200-mile economic zone of all kinds of marine resources. Whether it's our gold, and after more than 500 years of exploring that gold, we have yet to exploit even 10% of the gold of Ghana. There's a lot more coming. But of course, we've also discovered oil and gas. We have a lot of manganese, we have forest products, we have bauxite, we have iron ore, we have silica deposits for glass, lime deposits, salt. So there's so much potential for this country. And that's just on the hard assets of the country. Now the softer assets are even more beautiful because Ghana has among the most intelligent people in the world, among the most highly educated people. So it wasn't just by accident that the first black African to become Secretary General of the United Nations was a Ghanaian. So that's just the soft asset. And that's why many countries in West Africa send their students to Ghana for tertiary education. And if you tell foreigners living in Ghana, and the Chinese ambassador sat in my office recently, and she tells me, well, Ghana is a country where you can go jogging at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., even as a foreigner, and even as a woman, and nobody is going to touch you. If you want to get up early at 5 and do some walking in your neighborhood, you are safe. So safety, security, the hospitality of the people, the pleasantness, the relative honesty of the people that you are going to do business with if you're a business person, the law and order of the country, and the fact that the judicial system works. These are the kind of attributes that a foreign investor or a Ghanaian in the diaspora looking to invest in his own country should be comfortable with.
We do the investigations. We realize that the facilities Ghana Free Zone Board give it to us is the most favorable condition we can enjoy. Because I went to some countries, especially in West Africa. In Ghana, I think Ghana is the best. Ghana is the best.
I think generally you can say the free zone concept has succeeded, depending on what benchmarks or criteria or key performance indicators you might wish to use. But to the extent that it has employed anybody at all who would otherwise not have been employed, that already is a major achievement. And the figures we have indicate that many thousands of people have been employed.
Free zones can generate all the employment that government needs. All the employments, because that is the essence of the free zones, to create jobs.
In the free zone, in Siwa Free Zone, we have obviously over 300 employees, of which I think around 26 are doing the national service with us. We have around, I think, 40 different nationalities. Majority is still Ghanaian, I would assume, but obviously we have people from all over the region.
There are over 35,000 people that are employed under the free zone scheme pay taxes. They pay social security. There is a direct and indirect benefit from those companies that choose to invest their capital here.
The free zones also have not only employed people, but have also bought from a number of suppliers. Everybody who is in the free zones buys something from somebody. So assuming you're a cocoa processing plant in the free zones, it means you're buying cocoa either from the cocoa board or through whatever intermediaries. And that means you're also helping cocoa farmers, because the money you pay to your cocoa board eventually ends up being paid to farmers and to many other people in the value chain, as we might call it. Haulage companies, people that are providing insecticides and fertilizers are all benefiting from that establishment of a cocoa processing plant. It's the value chain that benefits from the company being established there.
From 1996 to date, the export schedule under the Free Zone program is some $11.7 billion. Capital investments is about just short of 2.4 billion. That was at 2012. The production schedule that has been from 1996 up to present, it's about $7.9 billion, almost $8 billion. So we can say very, very positively, without any equivocation, that the Free Zone program has brought a lot of benefit to the Ghanaian economy.
The fact is that the zones are there promoting exports, so making Ghana less dependent on imports. As we know, we are a highly import-dependent country. Free zones at least helps to create an export-mindedness among Ghanaians about the importance of us producing things in Ghana, whether in the free zone or outside the free zone, and exporting as much of it as possible. So to be fair, there are many exporters that are not in the free zones who produce goods in different parts of the country and export, but they increasingly could qualify for free zone status if they appreciated and understood the special arrangements made in the free zones. For example, the difficulty of getting utilities, if you're having access to land, but it's one of the impediments to establishing a business. But if you're going to establish a business, whether a Ghanaian company or a foreign company or a joint venture, and you know that there's a location where when you go, the land has already been acquired. So you don't have any land dispute issues. 2, power is already there. So you don't have to now write to the electricity company to get it connected. Water is already in the place. Sewerage lines and drainage systems have already been put in place. Telecom interconnectivity, broadband is available. So it's a kind of, as some people call it, a plug and play type of environment. You just bring all your luggage, you just plug and you play. You don't have to go through the whole process of the normal infrastructure challenges that an industry will endure. And it's for this reason that we are now expanding the physical locations of the free zones with acquisition of land in the Takoradi area, in the Sekondi area, in the Ashanti region, and in any case, almost any enterprise in Ghana, no matter where they are located, can apply for free zone status. And that particular acreage of land on which that particular company is established, whether it's in Bronga-Afo, Upper East, Volta region, or wherever else, those 3 acres or 20 acres, the factory or the plant or the operation is sited on, can be declared a free zones enclave. And then they get all the benefits that you would get if you were in the Tema enclave, which is where most of the other companies are aggregated.
ADM Cocoa Ghana is a processing factory, processing cocoa beans into cocoa liquor. Cocoa liquor is cocoa paste, and it's the main ingredient for chocolate. We are located in Kumasi. We are glad that Free Zone also was able to register us as a Free Zone company in Kumasi also. I would like to thank the authorities like Free Zone, Cocoa Board, for providing us good working environment. Without them and the good relationship we have with them, this company in Kumasi would have not been possible. So we are looking forward for the future, and we want to do more activity, provide more employment also, so that we give good contribution to the country economy.
Afidi anyansu yedi yankotoje ina nse yedogu fuma da dem free zone ye wa be ye ma onse na tribioda.
We wish that many investors have just trooped here to make business with us over here. Yeah. So I will urge anybody who wants to invest in this our good Ghana to come to Yabu Industrial Park or Free Zone Enclave to do business, acquire land, so that we shall all be one with the investors.
Should the port approach free zones so that we will have a mother free zones recognition? Then when companies are coming in already, the place is a free zones enclave. So when they come in, then they can also apply. Should we do that, or should we allow just companies to come to you?
That's what's happening in several countries. There's a free zone within the port setup. And all the foreign companies, oil and gas or legal service are there. And normally, that area is owned by the port authority under the different corporate entity. So the port is now like a developer. And then the others who come in, they will rent the place from the port.
Having attained low middle income, we need to transit into an upper middle income. that will require the development of the manufacturing sector of our economy. We also expect that free zones entities in the oil and gas sector will also over time increase in order that we take advantage of our new status as an oil producing economy.
The free zones, they are very efficient. You send something there, within 48 hours, everything is done. Right? Everything is done for you. You can even do by phone. You call them and then it is done.
We are very proud to be a free zone company.
10 years from now, we see a vision of a very different Ghana. We should be able to collaborate much more robustly and be establishing and creating and expanding and growing businesses so that Ghana can really become the industrial hub of West Africa.